All right, guys. Good morning, good afternoon. I hope not good night. By the time you're watching this video for the first time, I want to put together a quick video with some final tips and reminders about our exam for tomorrow. Um, Show up, guys. First of all, show up. Be on time, 7:30 a.m. Okay. Be in uniform. Bunch of number two pencils. Get some good sleep tonight. Be ready to roll. Okay. Put the hay in the barn. Let's say like before 11 p.m. tonight. Get some sleep. Get a light, healthy breakfast in you tomorrow morning, and let's go kill this thing. Okay. I want to give you something that's been rolling around in my head with a little bit of different prep, and I'm going to show it to you on this next slide. Um, so, as I said in class last time, I think we would benefit from really focusing our preparation on time periods 3 through 8. About 80% of our exam will consist of those time periods. We didn't get to spend a lot of time on 8, so it would be helpful to include in your focus that time period in particular. But we're going to focus, right, our efforts on where the majority of the exam lives, and that's time periods 3 through 8. The other thought that really occurred to me over the past 24 hours is this. Thankfully, this can really be a test of what you know as opposed to what you don't know. Okay. So you can work your way around what you don't know by talking about and emphasizing what you do know. To that end, I would invite you guys to do this as a last day study exercise. Um, Make yourself like a little brain dump here, okay? Um, I would suggest you do this in writing, okay, because there is a psychological connection between what we retain and what we write. And if you write this stuff the day before your exam, I think you'll do really well. So I would suggest we make a graphic organizer, okay, for time periods 3 through 8. You see, I've got the time periods laid out for you, and you make a series of columns to the right of each time period, starting with like major themes. And I'm not necessarily talking about like the APUSH themes, America and the world and all that. But I'm talking about when you look at a time period, right away, what are the trigger words? What happens? What do you know? Major kind of events. Okay. Like, what is this theme all about? Or what is this time period all about? Okay. The next column. Who are the presidents, perhaps the important presidents? We probably don't need to know, if I'm being honest, every single president, but there are some key presidents that would stand out during each time period, okay, or otherwise kind of major players, whether it be cultural figures or senators or even foreign actors that come into play. Okay. And the keywords associated with those people, right? So if we were talking, time period 3 and we were listing George Washington, right? We would brainstorm off of their, the Judiciary Act, the farewell address, the two-term president, okay, precedent. Um, so you would do that for all of the factors or the actors, I should say here, and all of the factors associated with them for each time period. Then you get to the next column, domestic affairs. What happens within the borders of the United States? If we're looking at, let's say, time period 4 here, 1803, we would certainly consider, the Louisiana Purchase. Okay. You could probably put that under domestic affairs, right? Even though it is a purchase from France. Um, your foreign affairs, right? The War of 1812. And you want to, again, kind of branch off of just listing it. Okay, what else do you associate with that war? What else would you talk about? Okay. And so you're building these boxes of brainstorm ideas under each of these headings for each of these time periods. What goes on in American culture would be your next box. Okay. Certainly, we just got through with time period 7. And so you would absolutely be talking, about the roaring 20s. But perhaps within that, you would talk about, well, next would be, right, the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. But with the Roaring Twenties, you would probably say, hey, it's really not roaring. You would talk about the warning lights on the American economy, for instance. Okay. And the final box, because I think it's going to be really important this year, is race. What's happening with respect to America and her minorities during each of these time periods? And we would certainly be talking about Native Americans early on. We would be talking about African Americans throughout history. We would be probably talking about the role of women in society. We just finished kind of talking with respect to time periods 7 and 8 in the transition. We talked about Mexican Americans, Japanese Americans, okay? Um, Earlier on, when we would be talking about, you know, uh, time periods 6 and 7, the Chinese Exclusion Act, for instance. Okay. So I want you to work a little bit on like a brain dump organized in this fashion, just kind of spilling out on paper everything that you can recall or imagine and think of and brain on. It doesn't have to be nice, neat boxes like I have it presented here for you, but you're just kind of going through everything that you can recall and branch off of that recall under these headings for each of the major time periods that are going to make up the majority of this exam. I would highly, highly recommend that you go through this exercise. Again, it occurred to me over the last 24 hours that, hey, this is really a test of what we know as opposed to what we don't know. And when you're talking about writing and contextualization and you're talking about outside evidence, okay, I think this is going to be a really important exercise for you to do. And I think you're going to be thankful during the exam for having done it, because some things are going to get triggered where you may otherwise feel stumped and you're going to say, hey, wait, I know I can write my way out of this one because I recall having done this in my brain dump. So please make this a part of your final preparations today. Okay. Um, Also, I would remind you, as I did in class last time we met, click on this video, okay, for my walkthrough of the exam for this year. We talked about these tips and tricks in class last time we met as well. So, all of this kind of shorthand should make sense for you. This is a 15-minute video here, so kind of going through this process and making sure you kind of quote unquote know your enemy should be another simple, 20, 25 minutes of your preparation here today. Okay. When you're done that, and I would suggest spending a good kind of hour and a half, 2 hours on that brain dump, another, 25, 30 minutes here on exam preparation itself. Okay. And so you're up to a good, 2.5 hours. I would suggest before you go to bed tonight, and I've linked it for you here. Get back into like some of the Joe's Productions video, or one of my students said it was Himmler's history that was getting him through some things. Um, Check out some of the YouTube videos, okay? Go for a little bit passive review, as I suggested in our last class during your downtime today. And who knows, you're going to probably pick up a few things that, again, might just kind of pop into your head as you go through this exam tomorrow, okay? Um, that is kind of all the final tips that I have for you here, guys. I'm confident that if you go through these final preparations today, and then you take care of yourself, all right, eat a good meal, drink some water, get to bed, get a nice, light, healthy breakfast, with a rested body, and go into this thing and let loose a little bit, man. Y'all are gonna go ahead and kill this thing. I got faith in you. Um, we always do. All right, we're Gibbons. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go, baby. Fired up for you guys. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say after the exam. And who knows, maybe I'll send you one more message tonight before all is said and done. Good luck, guys. Put in the work. Okay. We're almost at the finish line. Let's get there. Take care.